Hi, I'm Lewis at CP+R. We're going to start things off by asking you to walk on the spot while I explain what is going to go on in this video. We would like to help you take control of your cardiac health and in turn help you to live longer better. Throughout this routine, we're going to aim for an RPE of 6. Now, RPE stands for a rate of perceived exertion. A 6 would be an intensity you could maintain for 30 minutes while holding a conversation but not being able to sing. I'd like you to keep an eye on your RPE throughout this program and adjust the intensity where appropriate. At CP+R, we follow the time under tension theory. The longer you keep your muscles under tension, the greater the benefits. The sweet spot being 60 to 90 seconds. These benefits include cardiovascular adaptations, muscular strength, and muscular endurance, amongst many others. Today, we're going to aim for 60 seconds time under tension in each exercise. When we exercise, the working muscles have a higher demand for oxygen, and this is met with a greater amount of blood flow. The heart is also a working muscle and therefore also requires more oxygen and blood flow during exercise. During our warm-up, we need to allow time for the coronary arteries that surround the heart to dilate, which will allow more oxygen and more blood flow to the heart, taking strain off the cardiovascular system. Throughout this video, we are going to have rest periods between exercises, but if you find yourself out of breath or struggling, please feel free to pause the video at any point. Also, during these breaks, please continue until the timer stops. I'll be using these periods to explain the next exercise. We're now going to increase the intensity of our warm-up, going to hamstring walkouts away from our walking on the spot. So please join me on the edge of your mat. Our feet are going to be shoulder width apart. We're going to hinge backwards and walk out like so, keeping our legs nice and straight. Coming to the edge of our mat, we're then going to come back into the starting position. Now, if you struggle to get into this position due to flexibility, that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to bend your knees, continuing the exercise like so. Throughout this exercise, you're going to feel this down the back of your leg, in your hamstrings, keeping an eye on your RPE and heart rate throughout while controlling your breathing. Perfect. Our next exercise is going to be alternative single hand toe touches, again for 45 seconds. This time our feet are going to be wider than shoulder width, arms out, nice and straight like so, and we're just going to come down to the opposite ankle, changing side every rep. Again, guys, if you can't get into this position all the way down to the ankle, that's absolutely fine. Please find a position that's comfortable for you, such as the calf or towards the knee. Focusing in on that breathing. Once we've hit 45 seconds, we're going to go back into our step and rotate. So back onto the edge of the mat, we're going to take a step out like so, coming down just before we hit the floor, down to 90 degrees in both knees. Then we're going to rotate, then stepping back up into the starting position and alternating legs. The heart rate should be slowly rising now. Again, focusing on the breathing. 45 seconds of this exercise, we're nearly there. Fantastic, guys. Next up, we're going into that crab walk, okay? So we're going to be on the edge of our mat, into a squat position, sidestepping to the other side of the mat, straight back into that starting position, okay? Making sure we're going for 45 seconds, focusing in on that breathing. Our chest is going to be up throughout, and we're starting to increase that intensity now as we go through the warm-up. So the heart rate should be slowly rising, as should that RPE. Making sure we're really engaging that core, as this is a fantastic exercise for full body, and we're waking up those muscles that we're going to be working in the main body. Superb, last 3, 2, 1, then we're going into our stepping stars, which is like star jumps but a lower intensity, so we're stepping out, like so. And as we get halfway, we're going to change sides. So now we're coming out to the other side, like so. We're now way over halfway through your warm-up. We should be working towards that RP of 6. Remember, keep a nice focus on your breathing throughout, and if you need to grab some water, please do. High intensity throughout, focusing in on that breathing. If you want to make it harder and get that heart rate higher, obviously you can just speed up that exercise ever so slightly. Fantastic, guys. We're almost there. Lovely, and in 3, 2, 1, we're now going to go into the reverse lunges as we increase the intensity further. Similar to our step and rotate, but this time we're stepping backwards, then coming back up, alternating each time. Again, 90 degrees in both knees. Focusing in on that breathing. Lovely, this should be activating the glutes throughout the movement. Engage your core to stay stable, and remember, speed isn't the focus here. You really want to focus on activating your glutes and take your time throughout this movement. Okay guys, now we're going to go into our main body. So for this, our first exercise is going to be our squat. Throughout our routine today, we're going to be focusing on that time under tension with a 3-second period on the way down, 3-second period on the way up. We're going to start things off with our squat, feet shoulder width apart, bending at the knees as you come down like so for 3 seconds, then 3 seconds straight back up. Really squeeze in our glutes, as that's what's predominantly going to be working alongside our quads and our hamstrings. And then we're up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Going for 60 seconds in total, making sure our knees are no further forward than the end of our shoelaces. So as we come down, our knees stay back and out to the side. But what we're aiming for is that our thighs are parallel to the floor. I haven't got an arch in my back at all, nice neutral spine. Focus in on that breathing, really doing it well. Focus in on that breathing, push that floor away, squeeze in the glutes. Superb, okay, we've got 5 seconds left now before we go into our first break. And rest it there, very nice. 15-second break, take a drink, take a breather before we go into our next exercise, which is going to be the 3/4 press up. For this, we're going to be down on the mat like so. We're going to have our knees placed on the mat and our ankles crossed, hands nice and wide on the edge of the mat, and we're going to bring our chest down to the floor. Exhaling as you come back up. My elbows are tucked, my shoulders are in line with my hips. So my core's engaged. I'm not dropping my hips like so or arching my back like so. Leading with the chest, coming all the way down. Exhaling as you come back up. We're predominantly working our pectorals across our chest, our triceps in the back of our arms, and our deltoids, our posterior deltoids at the front of our shoulders. Superb, guys, we're over halfway now. Again, really focus in on that 3 seconds on the way down, 3 seconds on the way up. Keep that level of control throughout the movement. Superb, okay, focus in on that breathing. Absolutely flying now. We've got 5 seconds left before we have our next break. In 3, 2, and 1. Take a breather there. Next up, we're going into our chair dips, okay? So for this, we're going to use 2 chairs like so. Our fingers and palms are going to be on the edge of the chair. We're just going to walk our heels out like so. Then we're coming down and pushing through our palms back up to the top. To make this exercise easier, we can just walk our feet in closer to the chair. So for my first rep, I was here. To make it easier, I can just walk in, planting my feet down like so. You really want to make sure that you keep your elbows tucked in throughout this exercise. You'll also notice that I've rotated my palms outwards like so, and this just helps to make sure that I'm not hunching my shoulders and I've got a nice open chest rather than internally rotating. If you haven't got a chair, of course you can use a step or a bench as well. We're looking for some nice depth, bringing our hips back towards the bench as you come down for 3 seconds. Then back up for 3 seconds, exhaling again. Then we're going back into our break before our next exercise, which is the dead bug. In 3, 2, and 1. Take your breather, take a drink if you like. Next exercise is the dead bug, where we're coming down onto the mat, okay? Predominantly using our core like so. Our back is nice and flat up against the mat. We're in this position to start, and I'm just gonna bring my left leg down with my right arm. Coming back into starting position, then I'm changing my pair. Right leg down with left arm. Trying to get your foot as close to the floor as possible without touching. Challenge yourself, how low can you go? Still keep that time under tension. 3, 2, 1, straight back up. You really want to make sure that your lower back stays flat against the floor here. Anything else when that lower back comes up is just a little cheat where that core is not working. Keep a nice neutral spine, focus in on that breathing throughout. After this exercise, we've already done our first round, so absolutely smashing it so far. Keep focus in on that breathing. We're nearly there, way over halfway. Then we get a little break before we go back into that second round. 4, 3, 2, and 1. You rest it there. Take your drink, take your breather. We're starting again with those squats for that second round, okay? So join me, feet shoulder width apart. Remember, knees out to the side, no further than the end of the shoelace. You can increase the intensity by holding some light weights if you'd like to. We're coming down. Then we're pushing up as we exhale. Squeezing those glutes. At the top, I've got a slight bend in my knee, and that's just to keep those muscles under tension throughout. Superb, good. In terms of depth, what you can do is place a chair behind you if you'd like, so you get a nice consistent depth. But what we're aiming for is that our thighs are parallel to the floor, okay? So as you come down, knees stay back, thighs parallel to the floor like so, then you're pushing back up. Good, remember, should be feeling this in the quads, hamstrings, and glutes throughout this exercise. Really challenge yourself with that depth now, making sure that you feel it's safe to do so, and you've still got that focus on the breathing throughout. Remember guys, our RPE is a 6 throughout this program. We've got 3 seconds left, then it's our breather again. In 2, 1, take a breath, take a breather, take some drink on board before we go back into that 3/4 press up. Straight back down onto the mat, in our position, and we're in 3, 2, 1. Good, how low can you get to the floor? Making sure our shoulders are still in line with our hips, our core is engaged, and our elbows are tucked. Remember that time under tension. 3 seconds on the way down, then 3 seconds straight back up. No hold at the top or the bottom. Keeping a little bend in the elbow throughout so we keep those muscles under tension, guys. Superb. Good, and again, I'm gonna say it again, focus in on that breathing. Shoulders are down away from the ears. A little pinch in the shoulder blade just to facilitate a greater contraction in those pectorals across the chest. We're way over halfway now. Really challenge yourself. If you wanna go a little bit further, you can come up onto your toes rather than your knees, but we've still got one more round to go, so you don't wanna tire out too quickly. Here we go, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a breather there, well done. Drinks on board. Next up is the chair dips. We're absolutely flying through these today. I know that rest goes quickly. So we're into position, making sure we're getting the full 60 seconds of the chair dips. Again, if you want to make it harder, just walk those legs out a little bit further as you come down. Then you're pushing back up. My elbows are nice and tucked in as they were in the 3/4 press-ups. My palms are rotated outwards just to make sure those shoulders are up and out and they're not internally rotated. Good. Similar to what we said before in terms of keeping time under tension, a little bend in those elbows at the very top as well. Really try to make sure you maintain steady breathing throughout. And if you don't have a chair, remember you can also use a step or a bench for this one as well. Superb, guys. Pushing through. Should be feeling this in the triceps, down the back of the arm. A little bit in the shoulders as well, but we're keeping those nice and open. Last 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Take your breather there. Take your drinks on board. We're nearly at the end of the second round already. We're going into the dead bugs. Back down onto the floor. Lower back. Nice and flat up against the mat. When you're ready, challenge yourself. How low can you go? Try get that heel as close to the floor as possible without touching, then you're straight back up. Still keep that time under tension. 3, 2, 1, straight back up. 2, 3, good. Down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. What you don't want to do is allow your heel to drop. When that resting heel isn't in action, it can often drop like so. Still keep that parallel to the floor throughout the movement. Trying to get your foot as close to the floor as possible without touching. Challenge yourself. How low can you go? Still keep that time under tension. 3, 2, 1, straight back up. You really want to make sure that your lower back stays flat against the floor here. Last 3 seconds, guys, in 3, 2, and 1. Take a breather there. Okay, really get those drinks on board now, guys. Last round coming up. Push yourself to your limits. Last round coming up. Keep an eye on that RPE, keep an eye on that heart rate. Here we go, back into the squats. We're coming down. 2, 3, up, 2, 3. Straight back down. 2, 3, drive, up, 2, 3. Superb. Focus in on that breathing. Remember that knee positioning is key, especially as we start to get fatigued in there. Those glutes, hamstring and quads should be screaming at you at this point. Nice, guys. Keep pushing through. Push that floor away as you come up and exhale. Then you're straight back down without straightening those knees, keeping those muscles under tension throughout. Very nice control. Remember, you can challenge yourself with dumbbells either side if you need to. Focusing in on that depth as well, as long as that technique is there. If you're struggling with a forward lean, palms on either shoulders, elbows parallel to the floor, and that's just going to keep that chest up. We've got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Take your breath there, take your breather there, take a drink on board. We're going back into that 3/4 press up. And I know this rest flies by, guys. It's only 15 seconds. Here we go, straight back in. My core's engaged. When you're ready, we're coming down. 2, 3, straight back up. 2, 3. My elbows are nice and tucked, and that just keeps the focus in the chest. Good. How low can you get to the floor? Making sure our shoulders are still in line with our hips, our core is engaged, and our elbows are tucked. That just keeps the focus in the chest, away from the triceps. That should just be assisting. Should still feel it across the chest. Nice, guys. Focus in on that breathing throughout as well. Don't let those hips drop. Shoulders are tucked away from the ears, keeping that chin in a nice neutral position. Good. Focus in on that breathing. Exhale as you come up. 3 seconds up, 3 seconds straight back down. We're nearly home now. Superb. Take your breather there, take your rest there. Well done. Next up, we're going into those chair dips. So take a drink on board. You know the drill at this point. We're walking all the way out. When you're ready, on me, and we're going straight back down. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3, good. Tucking the elbows in. And then again. Nice. Shoulders away from the ears. Just like the previous exercise as well, elbows tucked as we've said. Really focus in on that breathing, core's engaged. Hips are going back towards the chair as you come down. Fantastic, guys, really push yourself. We're nearly home now, we're nearly there. The main body is nearly finished. This is the last time we'll do this exercise, just really make it count. Remember, if we haven't got a chair, we can still use that bench or that step if we need to. Superb, guys, we're nearly there. Here we go, last 5 seconds. Keep pushing through. In 3, 2, 1. Take your rest, take your breather. Last but certainly not least, we've got that dead bug to finish, okay? Join me at the bottom of the mat again. My lower back is pushed up against the floor. That's the first thing I'm gonna do in an active position like so, and I'm coming down. 2, 3, as close to the floor as possible, and then straight back up. 2, 3, making sure that my palm and my knee is arriving back into the start position at the same time. Core's nice and engaged. My toes pointed towards me now. Still keep that time under tension. 3, 2, 1, straight back up. 2, 3, good. Down. 2, 3, up. 2, 3. Don't let that tension break by bringing that lower back up. Keep that belly button to spine. Focus in on that breathing. Remember, this is the last bit we're doing of today before we go into the cool down. Let's really make it count. We're nearly there, guys. Keep pushing yourself. And in 3, 2, 1, superb. Take your rest there. Well done, well done. Take a drink on board, and then we're going into the cool down next, okay? We're gonna start off with a dynamic hamstring stretch like so. So step 1 foot forward, coming down and just sweep the floor, making sure we're keeping that front foot straight, back foot with a little bit of a bend in the knee, and then coming up, alternating each time. Guys, I really want you to focus in on everything you've just done today. Really push yourself to your limits, which is fantastic. We're now going into that cool down where your body can remove some of the metabolites and waste products, and this just reduces the risk of hypotension and also arrhythmias. Next up, we're gonna go into a groin stretch. So in a nice T position, like so. So I'm stepping out, bending this knee, putting all our weight on this knee. Nice straight leg here as well, so you feel it on the inside of your leg. Then pushing back up, back down again. We're just gonna go on to either side, and then we're gonna swap over. So come to the other side of your mat, T position again, coming down like so, back up, focusing on that breathing. This should be a lot lower intensity to what we were just doing. Next, we're gonna go into our dynamic calf stretch, so we can just take the seat and we're just gonna pump the calf. So we're just gonna push off our toes or the balls of our feet like so, nice and slowly, really focusing in on the breathing as well. And we should see that heart rate and RPE come down nice and gradually. Absolutely smashed that time under tension today, guys. Congratulations, well done. Next up, we're going into our static quad stretch. So we can do this standing or we can do it on the floor. I'm gonna show you standing. Using our chair, we're just gonna bring our heel up to our glutes like so, keeping our knees in line, just pushing our hips forward, focusing on our breathing. Good, and once we've done that side, we're gonna change over like so. Again, pushing the hips forward, focusing on that breathing throughout. Great, next we're gonna go into that glute stretch, guys. Back onto our seated position. Bring our left foot up onto our right knee and our right foot as close to us as possible. You can lean into this to intensify the stretch or use our hand to push this knee away. It's really important that we stretch after our exercises because at the moment our muscle fibers are almost like this and we want to stretch them back out to parallel like so. We're going to change over now to the other side. Also, stretching is really key for our lymphatic drainage. So again, removing those waste products and reducing any soreness that we might experience after exercise. Over time as well, of course, it's going to increase our range of motion, which will be really key. Superb. Last 2 seconds here. And then we're going to go into our shoulder stretch. So we're just going to bring our arm across our body and loop the other one in like so. And you'll feel this in the top of the arm and the deltoids. You can intensify the stretch by just looking over the shoulder if you need to. And after this one, of course, we're just going to switch over into the other side. Exact same again, like so. Good. For our final one here, we're going to finish up in our child's pose. We're going to come down onto the mat if it's comfortable to do so. Our knees are going to be nice and wide on the edge of the mat. We're going to sit our hips back towards our heels and then just walk our hands out as far as we possibly can. Focusing on that breathing. This should be a nice, comfortable position here. Coming back into a resting position, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations and well done. And I really hope you enjoyed today's exercise routine.